It's beginning to look a lot like Sainsbury's. Yes. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Other superstores are available.
Absolutely.
I just feel it's that time of the year where you just feel like everybody's in a mad rush around supermarkets.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
It's so welcome everybody to the last Wow Ergonomics of 2023. Wow,
Three.
what a year!
Not ever. It's not the last one ever. We will be
No,
back
of
next
this
year.
year. Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say, when you said that, I thought, please say of 2023. We will be
I
back
did, I
next
did,
year.
I
I know
did
you
say
did.
that.
I know.
But it's yeah, what a year! It's
Mm.
been a busy old year. Um, how was it for you, folks? Did you feel that you were working harder than ever before in 2023, or was it quite a quiet year for you?
Mm.
The general consensus, I think, is that everybody's been working their backside off
Yeah.
this year, and it just seems like we're trying to catch up. That's what I think it is.
Mm.
I feel like we're trying to catch up. It was interesting reading some reports earlier in the week, and I'll tell you why we looked into, or why I looked into this, was
Yeah.
we decided to rejoin the National Trust
Okay.
after a few years of not being in the National Trust, because and if you're watching from the National Trust, this is no disrespect whatsoever, but it's one of those things where you kind of do it for quite a long time, and then you go around and you see all of the different venues nearby to you, and then you kind of your children get a little bit bored of that for a while, and then you think, oh, we'll give it a break, and then you think actually they've probably moved on a couple of years and they'll probably quite enjoy it again now.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. Um, So yeah, we decided to rejoin, having had a couple of sort of free days out from them recently, because they've been running it in the newspapers where you could get a free day out, and we quite
Mm.
enjoyed it again. So then I looked up, sort of, where were the national trusts financially, and what do you think I found?
Was it good news, I hope?
Yeah, it was, but it was quite interesting. It was a lot of money that they'd lost
Mm.
over the COVID years.
Yeah.
It was over the 100 million mark,
Yeah.
etc. But they've got to a point where they pretty much have recouped that in the last couple of years.
Yeah, and it is going to take a number of times, whether it's some sort of entertainment business, organisation like the National Trust, or hello, Andrew. Merry
Hello,
Christmas to
Andrew.
you as well.
Merry Christmas to
Yeah,
you.
yeah. But it will take time, and it doesn't surprise me that it's taken them 2 or 3 years to sort of get back. You can't suddenly have that huge sort of trough and then returning to peak. It does take time for it to sort of recuperate. But that's good to
Yeah,
hear. And it's interesting what you said there, because there are some things that you do quite intensely, and you then do need that break to go back and re-enjoy, aren't there? Because as you say, sometimes it just becomes too familiar, and actually then it doesn't sort of hold people's interest. So by stepping away for a couple of years like you've done and rejoining, the kids, as you say, are a couple of years older, they probably won't remember the place, so it's all sort of brand new to them, and it's all, you can sort of re-engage and sort of re-enjoy that fantastic
the other
facility.
thing that was really quite interesting was in the whole article about it as well, was the fact that one of the things that they're really now beginning to invest in, getting back into a better space,
Mm.
is but probably because they've learned through the COVID years and everything else as well, and it's been a bit of a roller coaster ride for them, is that they're really beginning to invest in sort of staff well-being, and even things like trying to help some of the lower paid staff with the cost of living crisis,
Mm.
etc. as well. So I thought that was rather interesting,
Mm.
actually, as a kind of brief snapshot of one large organization. But I just wonder, perhaps anybody that's listening hear similar experiences out there within your industry as well. But it probably is the case that a lot of businesses that really kind of ground to a halt over COVID, and really had to kind of stretch themselves to just keep themselves going, have probably
Mm.
now begun to get back, and it's probably why we're all running at a million miles an hour.
Yeah.
in order to keep up with it. As you know, maybe that will settle. But I also saw, and someone put this piece across my desk earlier in the week as well, that there was a piece about going into 2024 that the new way forward will be to kind of work less and potentially sort of strive to take a little bit more time. Whether that will prove the case or not, I don't know. But it's
we heard a lot of that, didn't we? Let's be honest. We heard a lot of that during COVID, didn't we? And people sort of realigning their sort of priorities, and I think people have to a degree. But I wonder how many people have slipped back into those old habits of just doing an extra little bit here and there, and all those things that people said, no. When it gets to that, I'm stopping. I wonder how many people have just sort of fallen back into those bad old habits of yesteryear.
I think it's inevitable. I think it's inevitable with the fact that as I say, the pace of everything has sped up, and demands are great, but there's still actually not huge amounts of money around. So actually, but most people are having to work harder for a little bit less. Merry Christmas to you, and Merry Christmas.
Very good.
I think that's how you say it. Nice to see you, Jim. Work smart, not hard.
Yeah, well, actually, that's very close to the Back at Elkhausen slogan of work smart, feel good. So maybe I should put that one to the marketing team. Let's go to work smart, not hard in future.
Well, maybe you should get Jim to do a jingle for the Back at Elkhausen team. Jim does wonderful jingles.
Absolutely.
Electronic-y with things, sounds of cats and other keyboards. Oh, there he is, cats crying. There's lots of visual representation in the show today, so apologies to anybody that is now listening to this episode. But we're also wearing our Christmas jumpers today.
Yes.
So I'm going to start by explaining mine, and then Stephen will explain his.
Yes.
Mine, as I have been wearing at various other times in the week, I have to realise that by standing up, I'm coming away from the microphone as well. I'll try and move it with me there. Mine is a Marmite Christmas jumper, emblazoned, almost like. Looking at the top, almost like a jar of Marmite.
Yes.
And further down, it has the infamous line, "Love it or hate it." And it's not really a reference to Christmas per se. I think we should all love Christmas, but it's more of a reference, I believe, to the whole Christmas jumper thing. You either love them or you hate them. Should you wear them at work? Shouldn't you wear them at work? Should we even put pressure on people to wear a Christmas jumper on Christmas jumper day? I don't know. The vote's out on that. And yours
is a very simple T-shirt, which I will raise myself up tiptoes here, and it says "Better sprout than in."
Better sprout than in.
Better sprout than in.
Which, of course, is a reference to the energy crisis. And the fact that we all need to produce our own methane, in order to power.
Do you like sprouts, Graham? Sorry, I mean I'm just diverting off here, but sprouts, yay or nay in the Coath household?
Sprouts are fine.
Yeah,
sprouts are absolutely fine. I'm going to say roasted sprouts are actually the best.
Okay.
In fact, we had roasted sprouts last night. As part of a meal, with a sort of like a pasta dish, but with roasted sprouts.
Quick question, sorry. Parboiled before or straight in as they are?
No. But blanched, yes, blanched, so that they soften a little, and then roasted
in the oven.
But the one that I want to talk about, going alongside that, we're deviating into Christmas dinner ideas, but
I think we're allowed to today on the 22nd of December. We can.
We are going to talk ergonomics definitely in a bit because of today's wonderful poll. But I want to talk to you about parsnips. How do you do your parsnips, or do you not have parsnips with your Christmas
parsnips?
Dinner? You like them?
Parsnips. tend to find it's one of those things I do struggle to get right. I either undercook them or massively overcook them. I find it difficult to get that balance right.
I'm now
Probably
going to give you a
because they've got a
recipe.
because they've got a thin end and a thick end, and
Yeah.
that tends to be the challenge, doesn't it? That if you
Not a
you
challenge
know
at
what I
all,
mean.
Stephen.
Go on then.
It's
Go
not
on.
a
Tell me
challenge
then.
at all.
Tell me.
Hello and welcome to the Wow Ergonomics cooking show, where I'm going to give you a dish that's so easy to do and will absolutely transform your Christmas dinner.
Okay.
Right? And people are going to go, wow. And that's why, that's why it's on this show.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. I might
Do I need a
even
pencil and pen here?
I'm
sorry,
thinking
do
I might
do I need
even
paper
try
and
and
pen?
put the recipe up. Yeah, I might even
Nice.
try and put the recipe up. So as we go. So the first thing you need is a sort of a bag of parsnips.
Okay.
So a bag of parsnips.
That's usually helpful in a parsnip recipe, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. So you need a bag of parsnips.
Okay.
And the next thing that you need is cheese.
Okay.
Okay. And the next thing you need is double cream.
Right.
It's sounding good already, isn't it? And the next thing you need is salt and pepper.
Okay. Everyone's got salt
real
and pepper.
good. Do. Yeah, salt and pepper.
Yeah.
Reference to the 80s. That.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Was it 90s?
Was it 80s or early 90s? What do you reckon?
It's probably early 90s actually. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna add that there, and that's gonna go across a bag of parsnips, cheese, double cream, salt and pepper. That's all you need for this simple recipe. So basically what you do is you take your whole bag of parsnips, chop the ends off because nobody wants the ends, peel them, okay, because you don't really want the skin on. You could leave that on, but I just think it's better without. Right now, if you've got one of those blendery things at home where you push the food in and it's got a kind of grater element on it, that's the easiest way of doing this. All right. If not, if you've just got a hand grater, do it. It will take you a little bit of time. It takes a little bit of time to grate a load of parsnips, but you grate all the parsnips from the bag. And a bag, you know what I mean by a bag. One of those bags that at this time of year you can get for 15p.
Yeah, 15 to 16p.
Or 15 or 16p in the supermarket. Get one of those, the whole bag, right? Just grate the whole lot. And you should end up with like a reasonable size pulp, if you like, of parsnip, which will fill a nice kind of glass dish. You're not going to put anything on the bottom of that dish. You're not going to put anything on the top, right? You literally fill that up with the parsnip. Now, what I want you to do is pour the whole of about this size, which is very useful.
Pint. Is that a half pint?
Not one of the big ones of double cream.
I think it's a half pint. Yeah,
a half pint one of double cream. Just pour that liberally all over and give it a good stir. All right. Then get your salt and pepper. And this is really important. Don't forget the salt and pepper because otherwise it just won't work, right? A good lashing of salt and pepper all over that. And really mix it in with the cream. Just get it all over.
Sorry,
we're getting some great comments, are we?
Yeah. Chris Barlow's joined late because we've already done the Christmas jumper bit, Chris. So
yeah. Oh yeah. Hello, Barry. Hello, Barry. Hello.
Merry Christmas to you, Barry.
Seems to be a lack of Christmas.
We've already explained that.
We've got Christmas jumpers on. Of course, we've got Christmas jumpers. I can't help the fact that it's Marmite. Yes, I've turned into Delia Smith. Anyway, so salt and pepper all the way through. Give it a good mix, and then this is the Pierre de Resistance. Get your cheese. Grate your cheese across the top. So literally smother the top in cheese.
Liberal spread.
Yeah. Now, if you're Jamie Oliver at this point, right, just get out the olive oil and just drizzle it in olive oil.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know. We have a running joke about Jamie Oliver in this house where we do like when we're cooking in the kitchen, we're like, oh, and I'll put some olive oil over the top of that. We even like one day had a thing where we were going like, so this dish is olive oil and drizzled in olive oil with a bit more olive oil.
He's a little bit
the guy's
he
got
must be on
the
commission.
guy's got
He's on commission. He's on
the guy's
commission
got
for olive
shares
oil.
in olive oil.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. Anyway, no olive oil needed in the preparation of
Whack
this.
it in the oven, I guess, when the cheese is on.
Whack it in the oven, and it's going to take about 15 minutes or so.
Okay.
15, maybe 20 minutes. Okay, depending on the heat of the oven. What we tend to do is when we're roasting the potatoes, we get the potatoes roasting, and then when the potatoes have their last 20 minutes, half an hour, then that's when we put this in, and then we just leave it to cook along at lower slight lower stage in the oven to cook alongside that, probably the same sort of time that you would put the stuffing in. There's a good idea. And what if
you don't put stuffing in though? I mean, that's the
well, then why wouldn't
you?
Yeah, you're stuffed.
Yeah.
Obviously, everybody has stuffing. Yeah. Obviously, same as pigs and blankets, isn't it? Anyway, what you end up with, my lovely folks out there, is creamed parsnips. Now, I haven't met anybody yet who doesn't love creamed parsnips. It's completely different from parsnips. Even people that don't like parsnips love creamed parsnips. All right.
Right.
But actually, as part and parcel of your plate, when you think about it, quite a lot of the components of a Christmas dinner, apart from the gravy, are quite dry. And a number of the elements are quite dry. Even a lot of the vegetable is quite dry in a way. And this is something a little bit more a little bit more liquefied on the side of the plate.
Moist.
Actually more, I was trying to avoid that word.
No, I know you were, but
a little bit more moist on the side of the plate, which actually will really help, with everything, with the potatoes, with your whatever else it is that you're putting in there, alongside it. Even if you add your bit of cabbage and everything else into it, it actually makes your cabbage taste nice. So there you go. That's my secret. Try it. Honestly, creamed parsnips, you will not look back.
Here's one he made earlier, Graham.
Here's one.
You've got one there, haven't you?
I wish I had.
Yeah,
I wish I had. I will actually film me making it.
Yes.
For Christmas Day, for anybody that thinks, nah, I'm not trying it. I'm going to show you what it looks like. The first wow back, I'm going to show you what my creamed parsnips looks like, and I'm telling you now, it's an absolute winner. And you can do the same with sprouts, but that's for another day. There we go. There, that's sorted your Christmas dinner. That's spruced up your Christmas dinner, no end. Spiced up your life. Now, the only other thing that I would say is with Christmas dinner, and I'd like a show of hands for this, if anybody's still listening, Barry, Chris, Jim, Andrew.
Can we vote?
Yes. What do you make of red cabbage? But the Christmassy kind of red cabbage with the kind of nutmeg in. Yeah. Yes or no to that? Anybody? No. We had some recently from a supermarket who shall remain nameless, and it ended up being an eating challenge at home, honestly. Because
who could tolerate it? It was that bad.
Who could tolerate it because it was so perfumed.
Yeah.
Right. Everybody said it tasted like eating candles.
Yeah, nice. Oh, hang on, we got a no.
Oh, so we got a yes
Chris
from
Barlow.
Chris Barlow, red cabbage mixed with pigs and blanket. But do you like it, Chris? Does it have to be quite vinegary and quite tart, if you like? Or do you like it if it's quite sharp? Or do you like it if it's, kind of perfumey? Because that's what put everybody off in our house. It became the subject of a very Germanic. Yeah, true. It became the subject of this eating competition, which added into that. I'd just been sent a bottle of hot sauce straight from the States by one of the music artists that I interviewed, Pilot. She sent me a lovely bottle of pineapple hot sauce. So it was pineapple and chili.
Would it go well with creamed parsnips, this hot
What?
sauce?
But anything goes well with creamed parsnips.
Okay.
But so that my two of my sons, who always challenging each other to eating competitions, decided to do the leftovers of the red cabbage with raspberry ripple ice cream and pineapple hot sauce on the top.
Wow.
Yeah.
Um,
And I'll tell you now, they've said the most difficult bit was the red cabbage. So
really?
there you go. No, you see, Chris says not the perfumy stuff. No,
Correct. Not that.
just if anyone wants to secretly know which supermarket it was that are doing that particular mix of red cabbage, so they can avoid it. Obviously, for legal reasons, I'm not going to say on here now, but you can DM me and I'll let you know. Because it ain't.
What letters it begin with?
No, I'm not going down that road. I'm not going there. Now, listen, I want to talk. It is Christmas. I know we're sort of keeping on the Christmas theme, but I do want to talk about today's poll because I think it was incredibly interesting.
It was.
So I actually asked people this morning, given the fact that we were doing this today, and I said, do come along and watch. Do people actually understand what ergonomics is? And some very interesting comments on there. So I'm just going to see if I can have a look at my screen now and have a look at some of the comments that we got. But yeah, there was. Do you want to pick up on that one comment that we were talking about just before we came on, where somebody said
that they didn't think they didn't think that because of their height that sort of accessories and adjustments would be sort of applicable for them. And I thought that was really interesting because actually that's what adjustments are there for, is to appeal to all heights, sizes, shapes and sizes.
They were basically saying that ergonomic, and this comes back down to our kind of concern with the term ergonomic stuff doesn't fit them.
That was
it. And therefore, right, they've kind of, they don't see
not on their radar.
It's not on their radar because whenever they hear something to do with ergonomics or ergonomic, they've lumped that together in their head, that actually that's stuff that doesn't fit them because they are too short or too small or whatever for the stuff that is ergonomic. That's a real problem because that's what I said to them on the post. That's fundamentally taking away from exactly what the whole sector's about.
Yeah, absolutely. And Graham, we sort of exchanged messages before this show, didn't we? And I noticed Barry Kirby had joined the show to wish us Merry Christmas. But I was looking at the website of the CIEHF, which is the Chartered Institute of Ergonomics and Human Factors. And maybe you can throw the link up in the comments somewhere later on, but it gave a definition. And I think it was really interesting. So I'll just quickly read through it. So ergonomics is the scientific discipline concerned with the understanding of interactions among humans and other elements of a system, and the profession that applies theory, principles, data, and methods to design in order to optimize human well-being and overall system performance. Now, that is a bit of a mouthful, but actually it ties back to what people were saying on the thread and one or two of the comments, that actually the whole concept of ergonomics is how to adapt the workplace and the humans together to work together to deliver high performance and productivity. So I think it's really interesting to sort of go back and sort of reread what the definition is, because it applies to everyone. There you go.
There it is.
But it's interesting that some people maybe feel a little bit sort of alienated from it. But maybe by understanding what it truly means, they can go, well, actually, we're trying to get the workplace to adapt around you.
Yep.
It's there to benefit you as an individual.
Like I think it shows as well, and it's something that we've been talking about forever and a day. But it shows that there's a lot of work still to do for this sector to try and get over the fact that the word ergonomic has really done created a massive problem for the industry, and it's partly been perpetuated by the industry itself. So the industry has to take some blame for that. In that now we've got people out there that are believing that anything that's ergonomic actually isn't for them, as opposed to ergonomics being something that could really help people because it actually is about the individual. So let's make 2024 a year that we actually try and get to grips with that. I think should be part and parcel of what we should be aiming for. And I think one of the ways that we can do that as an industry is we have to think very carefully about when we do use the term ergonomic ourselves, but also I think we actually have to kind of aggressively actually go after anything that's like just using that in a bland way and actually call it out and say that's not right.
We've said this, haven't we, for I mean, almost for as long as this show's been going, is that it's too easily become, if I remember right, it's become an adjective, hasn't it? It's become a way to describe a product. Well, you can read from the definition there that it isn't an adjective at all. It's actually a whole sort of science-based area, but people have sort of cottoned onto that word, start putting it in front of the description of a product to try and sell it. And that misuse of the word is almost then, if we go back to this person who's commented, it's worked completely in the opposite direction. Rather than wanting to engage with ergonomics, they're actually being pushed away from it because of what their understanding of the word is.
Yeah. Now this is interesting and this came up in the kind of post as well. Jim saying, I found it quite straightforward to get the best out of my teams, just treat them with respect and understanding that all of the best relationships are built on give and take. I agree. That's about company culture. For me, that's a piece about company culture. That's not specifically necessarily where ergonomics sits, although ergonomics sits into helping with company culture. It is more the kind of science that then is blended with things like anthropometrics and actually creating solutions which work for individuals. So it is more, there is a whole element of it that is around sort of application of human factors and actually creating those or providing those solutions. So things like seating solutions or the kind of solutions that Bakker Elkhuizen do with, laptop raisers to raise the height of thing. All of those applications that help with human factors kind of sit within the ergonomics set, and those things can fit into the company culture thing. And totally get it, Jim, that actually if you have got the company culture bit right, then you will be looking for the application solutions which will then help within that company culture. So that bit's right. Sounds fascinating. It is.
That's why we talk about it every week.
Yeah,
unless we're talking about recipes or 80s pop music or various things like that. So
that as well. Yeah. But someone else said that on today's thing as well. They said, and I'm just seeing if I can now find it.
There was a lot of traffic on that poll. Not just people responding, but actually good comments as well. And people's, like I say, some of the things we've picked up, some people got some great understanding, and also other people, maybe we as a sector haven't made ourselves very clear as to what we do, because there was clearly some misunderstanding. And you've got to look at ourselves as an industry and go, how have we projected ourselves? Because people are not understanding the message.
John McGowan, who regularly comments on my material, said, I know it's something to do with working more proactively in your chosen profession. You see, now again, I thought that was an interesting comment.
It sort of ties in, as you say, as part of a wider piece, but not the direct human workspace system that we've just read as the definition coming together. It's sort of on the edge, but it's not the crux of what we're trying to address, is it?
No. there's a very specific piece in there about the relationship between us and our environment, and I think that's always useful to come back to as well. So we know ergonomics, the word itself, ergo and nomos, that's where it comes from, and it's kind of around the sort of laws of work, right? So in a way, if you think about it, it's like if I'm working within situ in a particular space, of course that space, especially these days, and this is what's made this quite an interesting subject for people in modern times, is that space doesn't necessarily fit in a particular physical space anymore, but it could be a moving feast. How do I relate to the other elements of that space? So do I physically fit that space? Is there accessibility for me and other people into that space? From a sort of health and safety point of view, am I sort of abiding by all sort of legal legislation within this space? But there's and it's interesting because this whole area has kind of widened in terms of the kind of groups that are involved in it. So it's not just health and safety anymore. There is also sort of an equality and diversity piece around this whole space as well. You know, am I providing for people a space which is both accessible, doesn't necessarily pertain to one particular gender, etc. There's whole elements of it, but ultimately a lot of the human factor stroke ergonomic side of it is, are people were being able to work productively, yes, in a space, because that space enables them to do things without barriers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And the physical aspect of that is a huge aspect of it. And I think part of the reason we use those terminologies, which have now kind of turned against us in a way, is we were trying to simplify. The sector was trying to simplify it almost as a sales message. But it got picked up by the wrong hands. You know,
loads of material for us for next year, Graham. Anyway, we've got loads to sort of keep talking about and banging the drum, haven't we, really? So I mean, what's good thing for me overall from that poll is there was a lot of people did get it and understood it, and I think a lot more businesses are understanding the whole piece to do with ergonomics, the wider DSE sort of area. That's good to see. The sort of on the flip side is how many people also don't still understand it. So that's sort of my summary from this year really would be, I think it's great that we've sort of spread the word, and that's really positive, but I still think there's a long way to go, because there's a lot of sort of lack of knowledge still that sits out there that we need to sort of educate those people and inform those people maybe better. Maybe it's the way we're projecting the message isn't the correct way for everyone, and maybe it's only appealing to certain sectors of the workforce.
Well, let's just have a look at let's just actually have a look at the data as it stands at the moment, because I think that in itself is quite interesting. I'm just going to grab it here and actually put it up on the screen for all of you wonderful people who are listening to this.
And if you haven't voted yet, get on and vote so you can
if
change
you haven't
the outcome.
if you haven't, actually, we'll put the link to the poll in so that people can go and vote. I would have thought actually a lot of the people that are on here will actually know, or that listen to this probably do know, but maybe you didn't. Maybe you just stumbled across this while you're eating your Christmas dinner, and actually, you know, you're like, oh, I actually had no idea what ergonomics is. Now that I've listened to this, I'm now going to re-vote. But here we are. This is the data. Do you know anything about ergonomics? So far, out of 81 votes, 51% yes, 20% no, and 30% I think so. Which kind of, that's about the kind of vote I would have expected, to be honest.
Yeah. but 1 in 5 saying no.
It's 1 in 4.
Multiply that up by what, there's something like 19 million computer workers or office workers or something like that in the UK. And you think if you run the number through, I know it doesn't necessarily work that way. That's 4 to 5 million people, isn't it? If
Yeah.
that was to be a true representation of the UK workforce.
Correct. So that shows that we need to, that shows that we need to be doing this, really.
Absolutely.
Because, we clearly haven't got that message completely out there.
It's out there, but it's not fully through to everyone. There's still a lot of work to do.
And so we will continue. We will be there, continuing to do it. We've got about 5 minutes left, because we're going to keep it quite short today.
Yeah.
But I'd like to know, before you disappear for Christmas, what are you expecting? Anything under the tree for this year? Have you been a good boy? Have you asked Santa for anything?
I've been and bought some of my own presents.
Have you really? Have you really?
I have.
Well, now let me think, because I know that shockingly, in the last week, and any of you parents out there that have been, done a good job and thought, oh, I've got all of them presents brought early and whatever. Some of the things like PlayStations and Xboxes in the last week, gosh, have you seen the prices fall? Right. I mean,
really?
the big Xbox. What's the big Xbox called? The one that's like a cube,
360,
or looks.
Is it? No.
Yeah, the one that looks like it's the obelisk out of 2001.
Right.
Anyway,
okay. We're a PlayStation house, so I'm completely unaware of that.
Okay, so that one has fallen by over £100 in the last week. So that's getting there. But I've seen some of the prices on the PS5 have gone right down as well, haven't they? Okay. Yeah. So have you bought yourself one, or what have you? No, that wasn't on the agenda.
Not on the agenda, no. I needed a few other bits and pieces, so I was told to. It's easy if you go and buy your own, and
do you then have to wrap them up?
No, someone else wraps them.
Oh, right. So you literally get the bag, bring it home.
There you go.
There you are. That's my Christmas present.
Well, the question was, what would you like for Christmas? I said I'd like some new golf shoes. To which my wife said, I've no idea what to go and get you. Go and get them yourself.
And so you can also try them on.
I was told. Exactly. So they'll fit. Or if they don't, something's gone very wrong. Yeah.
Between when you bought them and there you go. I want a new. I want a new synth from Santa.
Is that something to do with music? Is that a keyboard?
Yeah, that's a synthesizer. You need to tell us which one, Jim. This is quite an interesting comment. Doesn't it all come down to performance? So you can get the right height of the laptop right, but if they feel negative towards you and their line manager, it'd be a waste of your time worrying about the other stuff. Everything starts with relationship. I've worked in complete holes, but the leadership was on point and productivity good. As I say, it's a part of the culture piece, absolutely. But I'd say it works the other way around as well. If actually you don't provide good education to your people on things like posture and how to work without injury, and then look at what they need and what they don't need in terms of how they work, then that impacts on the culture as well. So it's about having the culture right.
They're intertwined, aren't they? They're intertwined, those two sort of things.
Very, very messy. It's very messy. It's a bit like my cream parsnips.
Yeah.
And there you are. Ergonomics
back
and
to where we started.
Exactly the same. Listen, it's been a lovely year with you. Thanks, Steve.
Enjoyed it. Thank you, Graham. It's been good.
Yeah,
we've had approval to carry on. We've got another season's being commissioned, so we're back for 2024.
We'll be back next year with some.
Are we back on the 5th, by the way? Sorry, I should maybe ask you this off air, but are we back on the 5th?
Yes, no, absolutely. I mean, I've got Christmas off. Yeah, Christmas Day, and then I'm back. So I might take Boxing Day off as well.
Yeah,
that might be it. But yeah, do have a break over Christmas. Happy Christmas to you, Jim, as
Yes,
well.
happy Christmas
And
to you,
happy
Jim. Thank you
Christmas
for
to
today.
anybody that's
Yeah.
listening to this over the Christmas period. Have a, you know, have a sherry from me. I don't actually drink anymore, but you know, that was
with a side of cream parsnips.
That's really, with a solid cream parsnips. I'd just love to know, actually, after this show, if you could tell us how many of you actually do the cream parsnips. That would be wonderful. We'll
I may
see
have a
you
go myself.
back in. You can do it, Steve.
I will.
We'll see you back in 2024. Wow, it's going to be another whole year. Until next time, bye for now.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Bye.
Merry Christmas.